As human beings, we focus a lot on visuals. In fact, 2/3 of our brain power is constantly processing visuals. But it's not because we are capable of liking a good story that we are capable of writing a book or painting a painting. This video will dig into what makes a good design and how to adopt a rational approach when we produce communication tools and when we need to evaluate if they work or not. I will talk about corporate videos and try to see what would be the choices we would make for visuals, for the soundtrack, for different parameters of producing a corporate video. Just to be sure that we understand the same thing, a corporate video is a video that talks about the existence of the organization itself. So it does not try to sell a product or a service. It explains how the organization itself works. So let's look at 3 different styles among many of corporate videos. The first one style, you might have seen it lately on the internet, on Facebook particularly, and that one comes from the World Economic Forum. It's the juxtaposition of video clips and images and a lot of titles and data. So let's say I have to create a video and I have the choice between this first style or the second style, a colored background with one speaker, actually what you are looking at on screen right now, how am I presenting myself, or eventually a third style, which would be something more emotional, more powerful, more human-centered, still talking about employees of an organization in this case, but corporate video with a human touch.
This is an issued US patent. It deals with limiting the forces in the train. This patent is for improving the wheel slip control. This patent deals with the dynamic. This patent is to recover. This patent is for cranking. This patent is for reducing. This patent deals only 2 people within GE has more patents than I do.
So we have 3 completely different visual styles, 3 different stories as well, but they all fit in this grander sector of corporate videos. So an organization working in the public sector or in the private sector actually as well could produce any of these videos. So how do you choose one style over another? Let's add an additional parameter and challenge: soundtracks. We have here 3 different types of soundtracks. I gave them different names so we understand them. That doesn't mean it actually called that way. But the first one would be upbeat millennials, something you would hear probably on the radio ultimately. The second one style most probably could fit a corporate video from the European Commission, talking about a neutral topic in a neutral way with a neutral background music. The third soundtrack type is much more indicative of the audience already. This is more oriented towards certain type of people. Let's listen to it. I called it ethno-electro. These 3 soundtracks are actually taken from stocks of music, so you could pick up any of them for the video, but how do you choose which one is good? And then an additional parameter which we always have to deal with, which is the tone of voice. How do we talk to people? How do we address them? What sort of words do we use? We could choose to go for the expert high-level way, using words such as framework or guidelines or any sort of very complex terminology. I choose the topic of aging society, so let's see how a newspaper would cover the same story. Controversial tax scheme encourages wealthy pensioners to emigrate to Portugal. That's a definitive title for a newspaper, and that's a completely other way to address the topic and to talk to people. And let's hear how a magazine could cover the same story. I spent a day living like a grandmother to understand what seniors face every day. Definitely something you would read for 10 or 15 minutes in a magazine if you were encountering it, but you wouldn't expect that from the European Commission, for instance. So the tone of voice, the soundtrack, the visuals are depending on 2 parameters: brand, who are you talking for, and the second part is who are you talking to.